Welcome back. The City Council will be debating the future of the Gardiner tomorrow. Joining me now, Mayor John Tory. Everyone knows you've been very vocal about the hybrid option, which is leaving a portion and as well as rebuilding a portion. What is it about the hybrid option that makes the most sense to you versus tearing it down?
It's that it allows for there to be a continuing connection between the Don Valley Parkway and the Gardiner. I just think with the congestion problems we have in this city that we can't afford to take out a piece of that link that connects up the one ring road we have in Toronto that goes around the Gardiner, 427, 401 Parkway, and there are people that need to move around the city. It's important for the economy, it's important for families. And if you take out a section of that, 1.7 kilometers, just take it out and replace it with this so-called boulevard, I just think you're going to have more traffic congestion. And I didn't get elected, I don't think people elected me to create more traffic congestion and make commuting times longer, and the hybrid allows you to keep that important connection in place.
Let's talk about the cost, of course. That's what front and center. $336 million compared to the $240 million for the teardown. How will the cost be offset then over the years if we go with a hybrid option?
Well, we'll find the way within the budget to pay for the extra, but when you look at the extra amount, it's about sort of $100 million, a little bit less. The damage to the economy, according to the city staff's own report and the Board of Trade, is going to be $37 million each year, every year going forward, if you take down the expressway because of increased congestion. And so the bottom line is it's actually lesser cost to do the hybrid than it is to take it down. And I think more important than the cost is the cost to people's lives and to business. I just don't think we can go on this way where we just say, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's only a few more minutes for people. They're already in their cars for an hour a day or more in many cases. And I just think they said to me, certainly during the election campaign and since, don't make it worse for me. And that's all I'm trying to do, is to make it, stay at least the same or even get better over time.
Well, at the end of the day, something needs to happen. We've seen the Gardiner literally crumbling, and as you said, it's a safety hazard now. We can't afford to have another report done, though there have been several. I just want to look to the other side now. Public Health, they've put out a report suggesting that a teardown is the better option for Torontonians. Well,
I mean, they became experts. Look, I respect their medical doctors. They became experts on jobs and things like that. But on the environment issue, just for example, I would say, and I think a lot of people out there would say, it is worse to have cars idling in traffic jams for the environment than at least to keep the traffic moving. And again, I'm not trying to sort of build the whole city around cars. I'm simply acknowledging the fact that now, and with 2 million more people coming to this region in the next period of time, people are going to continue to drive cars. Trucks need to get around to deliver goods and so on in the service in our economy, and that we can't afford to take down that one part that connects those two important roadways, the Don Valley Parkway and the Gardiner. So the medical officer of health, I mean, his board decided his report shouldn't even go forward to the City Council in the next couple of days. So they made their own judgment about that. So
let's talk about how it's going to go with Council. The debate begins tomorrow. It's going to be a heated debate because it'll also be a very tight vote expected. We've seen both sides and councillors sort of going back and forth. What do you expect to come out of the talks?
I expect a debate that does go on for a long time. I hope it will be respectful. I mean, these days of people personally attacking each other, and there's been a bit of that in these debates, not from me, but I think that the debate will go on, as it should. I mean, that's democracy. The vote will happen. It will be close. But most of the contentious issues over time in the city have close votes, and this one happens to be coming up early on in my own tenure as mayor, but that's fine. And I'm optimistic that the hybrid will carry the day because people will say, it says in the Toronto Sun this morning, for example, 1.9 million hours of additional time spent in cars by commuters if we take the expressway down. I look at that and I just want to cry that people 1.9 million hours of their time, which they won't get back. So that'll be the stuff that'll be debated, and there'll be a vote, and it'll be what it is.
Switching gears now, talking about commuting, got to ask you about the TTC debacle, is how people are titling it right now, because I don't remember all 4 lines ever being down at one point together. Now we are hearing about a communication issue. What can we do to help our transit moving forward? Well,
I mean, I think we have to sort of look at the fact that you're right. I mean, in a city this big and with a transit system this sophisticated, we can't just have those things happening. And so it means you have to put backup system, sometimes after backup system, after backup system. Yesterday, 2 systems failed, the original one and the backup system. And, it was to do with a power failure the night before and so on and so on. But the bottom line is you have to prepare for those eventualities. And obviously, the TTC wasn't, prepared enough. You might say with a system system and a backup. And they actually closed the subway. I don't know that people understand. They shut it down because there was no radio contact. That part I get. It'd be like at the airport. If you lost radio contact with planes, you'd close the airport. You can't have planes flying around with no radio contact. So we've just got to do much, much better at this. And I believe that's partly management, and I think Andy Byford is trying very hard, and it's partly investment in the TTC to make sure we have the best equipment. And if we need 3 backup systems to run the radios, then we'll have 3.
We need the money. Thank you very much, Mayor John Tory. Thank you for joining us. And if you want to chime in as well about the Gardiner, at BT Toronto is our Twitter handle, and breakfasttelevision.ca.